Today I'm gonna teach you how to wholesale a home when there are realtors involved. A lot of people think that you cannot wholesale if there are realtors involved or if it's on the MLS, but I'm saying that you can, and here's how. If this is the first time you've come across my channel, my name's Justin, and I make a lot of videos about real estate, money, and self-development, and I document my journey as a young real estate investor and entrepreneur. And before I explain this to you, you have to understand this one thing first. You have to realize that it's possible, and you have to believe that it's possible, because I promise you, if you don't think you can wholesale a home using realtors or with the MLS, you won't do it. You have to believe it first. So I'm just gonna start with that. But now I'm gonna get a little bit more technical and explain how to do it. And I'm gonna start out by talking about the MLS specifically. If you don't know what the MLS is, it's pretty much where all the homes are listed. It's what realtors have access to. These are the homes that are on the market. The first thing you should know that if you're gonna be dealing with homes on the market and working with realtors and making offers using realtors, you should and probably need to get a pre-approval, whether it's a pre-approval or a proof of funds. And hold on, you might think, hey, I have like $0 in my bank. How do I get a pre-approval? Go to a hard money lender and ask them to pre-approve you. You'll probably get one. If they don't, someone else will. Because what most hard money lenders really care about is if it's a good deal or not. And if it's not a good deal, they're not gonna lend on it anyways. So you wanna get that pre-approval or proof of funds first, because if you're gonna be making an offer with a realtor, that's the first thing the realtor's gonna ask you. They're gonna say, hey, do you have a pre-approval or proof of funds? And if you say no, they're not gonna write up the offer for you. They don't care about you. They wanna know that you're a legit buyer, even though you know in your head that you're a wholesaler and you're trying to wholesale and assign this home. So get the pre-approval first if you're gonna be working on the MLS with realtors. This is just so that you can make offers and realtors will take you seriously. The second thing you have to know is that whatever contract that you're gonna be using, it has to have some type of clause that allows the contract to be assignable. Meaning, if you get a property under contract, so if you offer on the home and seller accepts your offer and you're trying to wholesale the property, so you're trying to find an end buyer to buy that contract from you, the contract needs to be assignable. Now I know in some states, a contract can be like assignable by nature, but you still want something in writing saying that, hey, this can be assigned and you can assign it to someone else. If it doesn't have that, even if a contract is assignable by nature, it might be a little bit hard to assign it. Also, wholesaling is legal in pretty much all states except like one or two. I think one is Illinois that it's not legal in, but I'm not your lawyer there. Just like look up to see if you can wholesale in your state. So here's the next thing. So you already have your pre-approval or proof of funds. You know that the contract that you're gonna be using is assignable. The next thing you gotta realize is that not all realtors know about wholesaling. Most don't know about it. Even the really experienced realtors. And I get this a lot. A lot of realtors I talk to, especially the experienced ones, I tell them, hey, this might be an assignment. I might be assigning this to a partner. They'll say, I've been in the business 20 years. I know exactly what it is. Like, I know exactly what I'm doing. And then when it comes time, they have no idea what they're doing. They don't know what an assignment is or what wholesaling really is. So if someone ever says, oh, I've been in the business 20 years, I immediately think, oh gosh, you might not know anything. I might have to teach you. And that's okay. You have to realize that if you're gonna be wholesaling using realtors, you have to teach. It's pretty common actually. Whenever I work with a realtor on a deal that's probably gonna be an assignment or a wholesale deal, I explain to them very quickly, very upfront. I say, hey, are you familiar with wholesaling and assignments? And if they say yes, I say, can you explain it to me just so I know that you understand? And I only ask this now because someone, a past realtor, said they understood it and they really didn't. And it almost ruined the deal. And so I asked them to explain. And if they don't know what it means, I understand how to clearly explain to them, no, look, we're just assigning this contract. We have an end buyer for it. The seller's still gonna get the same exact amount that we set out to agree on. And I just make them understand how the process works. And it might be a little bit difficult if you're newer. So if you're newer, I would make sure you fully understand how wholesaling works, or at least try to, and maybe talk to an experienced wholesaler before your first deal, especially if you're gonna be working with agents, because if you don't know how to articulate it and teach them, they could ruin the deal. Agents usually ruin deals more often than they help them. It's kind of sad, but it's true. So you have to be willing to teach, you have to be understanding of them not knowing what wholesaling or assignments really are, and you have to teach and be kind. That's the biggest tip I have for you is be kind as you teach, be understanding. So you have to make sure that they understand that yes, it's possible, yes, it's doable, it's very common, and make sure that they understand there are realtor forms specifically for wholesales. There are literally assignment agreement addendums for this. So make sure that they understand this. And that's probably the biggest challenge you will face if you're gonna be wholesaling with realtors or the MLS, is that realtors will not know what you're talking about. So you have to teach. And some of them catch on pretty quickly, some don't. And that's the frustrating thing, but it's okay. Just explain, and it helps you learn it even more, because if you can teach someone something, it shows that you really understand it yourself. Practice teaching wholesaling, understand it first. Because wholesaling, although it might be simple to me or to you, it'll be very complicated to someone who has no idea about it. So you have to be understanding about that fact and realize that some realtors still will not understand after you explain it to them the first time. Most of them, or a lot of them, will even think you're trying to double close or wholesale the deal, meaning they're thinking that you're going to actually buy the home, close on it yourself, and then quickly resell it right after without any repairs. That's like a wholesale deal where you double close it. You buy it yourself, then you resell. Wholesaling is something entirely different, where you don't actually buy it yourself. You just get it under contract and you sell the contract, the purchase agreement, to another buyer. They have to understand that aspect. They have to understand it fully. And honestly, once you get to this point, so once you get the pre-approval, make the offer with an assignable contract, make sure that the realtor or realtors understand exactly what you're doing and what wholesaling is, then it's smooth sailing from there. And then it just becomes like any other ordinary wholesale deal. You have to deal with the seller, the buyer, make sure that everyone's in communication, everyone knows what's going on, especially if there's like a tenant that needs to vacate. From there, it's the same exact thing. Like for MLS, I know they have to do a little bit more disclosures as far as, hey, end buyer, they're gonna be buying it, the wholesaler in the middle is gonna be making money, which is good to tell the seller anyways, but there are a couple more disclosures that are needed. I don't know if it's the same for every single state, but I know in California, it's like that. So just know that you're gonna be making more disclosures than you normally would with just off-market deals. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. You should always be upfront. Never lie to the seller. But sometimes realtors can overcomplicate things, and it's your job to uncomplicate those things and make it understandable for them and the seller. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I make a lot of other videos just like this about real estate, money, and self-development, and I document my journey as a young real estate investor and entrepreneur. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you at the next one. Don't forget to subscribe.